اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وفقها في الدين يا رب العالمين وألحقنا بعبادك الصالحين. اللهم فقهنا في الدين، اللهم فقهنا في الدين، اللهم فقهنا في الدين. آمين يا رب العالمين. يقول الله عز وجل: قل للمؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم ويحفظوا فروجهم ذلك أزكى لهم، إلى آخر الآية. Here we continue, inshallah, with the hadith on marriage and the importance of marriage on the chapter of nikah from Targheeb wa Tarheeb by Hafiz al-Munthiri, one of the most celebrated works in history. It's one of the most comprehensive books on hadith literature when it comes to encouragement for good deeds and warnings against bad deeds, warnings against doing sins. It's one of the best books. In fact, the ahadith in Riyadh al-Salihin are approximately nearly 2,000, whereas the ahadith inside Targheeb wa Tarheeb is approximately more than double, nearly 5,000. So the comprehensiveness of this book is like none other. Imam al-Munthiri, he tried to gather all the virtues and all the rewards for good deeds from all the books existing in hadith literature. So it was an extensive research that he went through to take out all these hadiths for you and me to benefit from. And likewise, students and ulama have been benefiting for centuries now. He's a scholar from the 6th century, so approximately 800 years from now. Scholars have benefited, students have benefited, and in some of the madrasas, it is from the syllabus books that you must study to become an alim. In some of the madrasas that I know. Khair, inshallah. We done the hadith of Jarir radiallahu anhu about the sudden glance. When a person looks at the opposite gender with a sudden glance, Rasulullah's advice is immediately, Isrif basarak, turn your eyes away, turn your gaze away. That was the hadith of Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood and Muslim. Then now we go into the hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. وعن عبد الله يعني ابن مسعود. This is the benefit of Hafiz al-Munthiri. Hafiz al-Munthiri, he makes you aware who these sahabas were or these narrators were sometimes. Just like Imam Nawawi does as well. Subhanallah. So here, he says, An Abdullah. But this Abdullah, generally when you say just Abdullah, refers to who? Refers to Ibn Mas'ud. Doesn't refer to Abdullah ibn Umar. Doesn't refer to Abdullah ibn Abbas. Doesn't refer to Abdullah ibn Zubayr. There's many other sahabas with the name of Abdullah. But who is known as the slave of Allah, the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in general, according to all the ulama and all the sahaba, is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, the mufti of Kufa, the mujtahid, the mufti, the greatest faqih of the sahaba, senior mufti of the sahaba. يعني ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الإثم حواز القلوب وما من نظرة إلا وللشيطان فيها مطمع رواه البيهقي. This hadith is narrated in Bayhaqi on the authority of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. He reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, sin is what pricks the heart. Sin is what pricks the heart. Meaning, when you're going towards sin or when you're about to do something, automatically in your heart you will feel uncomfortable. You'll feel uncomfortable because you know that there's something wrong in doing this. So when you know in your heart, it pricks the heart, meaning it gives you a feeling that this is wrong. This is wrong. It already gives you a sign for you to abstain from that evil or that sin. There is then he continues, وَمَا مِن نَظْرَةٍ. There is no glance, there is no glance except shaitan seeks to exploit it. So when you look at something of the opposite gender, automatically shaitan is trying to play you. It is your duty to put your head down, your eyes down, and your gaze down and walk away. Because it's gonna create in you feelings and a burning feeling of desire, which is haram. So this is something that you have to walk away from. And shaitan, this is his best place because he knows the opposite gender is your weakness. In the Quran, it very clearly, وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. This is in regards to women. وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا, that insan was created weak. Weak in regards to what? In regards to women. A man to women and women to men. The next hadith we have here, وعن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما من صباح إلا وملكان يناديان ويل للرجال من النساء وويل للنساء من الرجال رواه ابن ماجه والحاكم وقال صحيح الإسناد. This hadith is sahih in Hakim and Ibn Majah. It's reported on the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, every morning there's two angels saying, woe, destruction be upon man unto the woman, and destruction be upon a woman unto a man. Meaning, a woman can cause a man's destruction, a man can cause a woman's destruction if they fall into adultery and fornication. So, these are two angels that make an announcement every single day to protect yourselves against zina, against anything that leads to zina. Okay, this is a warning of an announcement for you not to go close to zina. Okay, وَيْلٌ لِلرِّجَالِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَوَيْلٌ لِلنِّسَاءِ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ. And this is Sahih Hadith. وعن عقبة بن عامر رضي الله تعالى عنه. Sometimes hadiths are explained in a way that it's misunderstood. This is why I'm trying to use the best translation I can in order to convey the correct meaning of the hadith. Okay. وعن عقبة بن عامر رضي الله تعالى عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إياكم والدخول على النساء فقال رجل من الأنصار أفرأيت الحم قال الحم الموت الحم الموت رواه البخاري ومسلم والترمذي. This hadith is narrated in Bukhari, Muslim and Tirmidhi, so it is beyond doubt that it is sahih. On the authority of Uqbat ibn Amir, one of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, Iyyakum wad-dukhul, beware of going into women's quarters, being alone with another woman, and this is especially referring to a woman in a house which she is alone in. Okay, a woman who is alone in her house without her husband, without her sons, without her brothers, without any of her guardians. So be careful and beware of going into and entering upon a woman that's alone. فَقَالَ رَجُلٌ مِنَ الْأَنصَارِ. One of the Ansari man said, what about the sister-in-law? Because the sister-in-law generally stays inside the house. In some cases, they stay inside the house. So, but the sister-in-law is a غير mahram, is someone that you're not supposed to go in front of and she's not supposed to come in front of you. So therefore, what about her? Rasulullah replied, Alhamu al-mautu. Alhamu al-maut. It's your sister-in-law is as the same as death. Meaning, it is so dangerous, it's like it will put you to death, because with the sister-in-law, you feel free. Inside the house, you feel a bit more free. So even if you were to converse with the person inside the same room alone, nobody will say anything, because end of the day, that's your sister-in-law. Okay? Nobody will think of it in a bad way. But if something were to take place, it's more, the likelihood of something taking place is very high. Okay, although she is a ghair mahram, but the likelihood of that, of haram zina happening here is much, much, much greater. Okay, with a woman outside, it's much more difficult to go and get her contact, and it's more difficult to meet up with her. Whereas with the sister-in-law, she's already in the house. Do you understand? So it's much easier for you to fall into sin. For you to fall into sin. Even to talk casually is a big problem nowadays. Okay, and culture plays a massive role, especially in our culture. It's known as it's normal to speak to your sister-in-law. You only confine it and restrict it to what's needed. That's it. Okay, even to come out of in front of her, it shouldn't be as casual as we make it. Okay, our culture is a big annoyance and a big hindrance towards this, and deen must come first. This is the main thing that we learn from Hadith Sharif, that deen comes first before culture. Your culture can say whatever. If it is wrong, it is wrong. We have to admit that it's wrong. In culture, alhamdulillah, there's great things that you can uphold, and it goes with our religious modesty. But when it goes against religious modesty, like coming out in front of sister-in-law, she's dressed in a very inappropriate manner, and you are in front of her. This is inappropriate, absolutely inappropriate. Same thing with the cousin sisters. In our culture, unfortunately, this is something very common. You know, oh, they're my uncle's daughters, that's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. According to Sharia, it's not fine. Okay? They have to be covered, and they have to be covered in an appropriate way. And for you also, you have to do your duty of looking down. I hope this hadith is clear, inshallah. وعن ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنهما أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا يخلون أحدكم بامرأة إلا مع ذي محرم رواه البخاري ومسلم. Hadith of Bukhari and Muslim. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, him and his father, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them, says that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that none of you must be alone with another woman without her mahram. Without her mahram. You mustn't be alone with another woman in the same room without her mahram, without her brother, without her father, without her son. That's of age. Otherwise, it will lead to other harams. And this we understand more so in workplaces. In workplaces, this is even more difficult to avoid. You avoid it as much as you can to the best of your ability. But this hadith remains. The hadith of Bukhari and Muslim, لا يخلون أحدكم, very clear prohibition that no man must stay with another woman without her guardian. Her guardian is there to protect her from falling into sin, from falling into vice. Okay? So, therefore, a person must not be alone with another woman in the same room. Okay? You must try to avoid that situation. If you're in a public setting, keep the door open. Keep the office door open. If you're working in the office, keep the office door open. Don't be with another woman that's ghair mahram to you, that you can marry, inside the same room without at least minimum the door open. Nowadays, it's more serious, it's more dangerous. They can accuse you of 101 things. Then you're going to end up in a bigger case. Do you understand? So, it's for your own sake as well, and it's the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we want to follow the guidance of Rasulullah to the utmost best of our abilities. The next hadith we have, وعن معقل بن يسار ومعقل بن يسار رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لأن يطعن في رأس أحدكم بمخيط من حديد خير له من أن يمس امرأة لا تحل له رواه الطبراني والبيهقي. Subhanallah. This hadith is very serious warning. It's not a joke. That one of you be pricked with a iron needle, مخيط من حديد, iron needle. That one of you be pricked with an iron needle is more better than touching a woman that is not allowed for you. Than touching a woman that you're not allowed to touch. Is that understood? Very serious warning, extremely serious warning from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we must take heed. We must take heed. This is very dangerous. Touching another girl that is inappropriate, touching another girl that you're not allowed to touch, this is against our deen. Not just against the law of the country. Okay, not just against the law of the country, it's against your deen. Girlfriend, boyfriend is haram. There are, unfortunately, nowadays, these are common things. But why does this occur? Because we are not making an effort to get our youngsters married. Oh, he's only 16, he's only 17, he's only 18. And what? It's better than falling into haram. It's much, much, million times better for you and me to save our brothers, save our sisters, than to get into haram relationships in colleges and universities. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows what's happening. Nobody's hiding it. Everyone knows what's happening. Knowingly you're doing it. Knowingly you're going against your fitrah that Allah created in you. Allah created a natural disposition in you to say, this is haram. I'm not supposed to go out in a casual relationship with another woman. This is another man's daughter. This is a future to be mother. We're not computers that you can press delete button and then gone, everything's gone. No. However many relationships you had, all of those are registered, not just inside your books of deeds, good deeds and bad deeds, but it's also registered in your mind for your whole life, for the rest of your life. You can't delete it. It cannot be deleted. We know as humans. We're humans, we're not computers, we're not robots. You can't just press a delete button and delete everything. No, it doesn't work. So for a boy, if he wants to get married, get him married. Get him married. For a girl, she wants to get married, get her married. What are you waiting for? Which prince are you looking for? Which king are you looking for to come and marry your daughter? We're normal human beings. Give her to a normal family that's of your normal status. Alhamdulillah. Live a decent life. You don't need to be looking at all these Instagrammers and everything. This is a fake life that people pose. Okay, this is a fake life that people pose themselves to be in the best, happiest mood. Why don't they pose themselves in the most deepest, saddest times? They don't do that. They never do that. Isn't it? It's a fake life. They only, when they're hiring a 500-pound car, Lamborghini, for one day, for 3 hours, that's the time that they're going to post their pictures on Instagram, isn't it? Huh? So this is a fake life. Don't go for fake life. Go for a real life, simple life. The life of Rasulullah was simple. Don't get influenced by all these things. These are called influences for a reason. They're called idols for a reason. They're similar to the idols that existed, but in a different way. It's just changed in a different mode now. So, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam must be taken extreme heed. Then the next hadith we have, وعن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا معشر الشباب من استطاع منكم الباءة فليتزوج فإنه أغض للبصر وأحصن للفرج ومن لم يستطع فعليه بالصوم فإن له وجاء رواه البخاري ومسلم واللفظ لهما وأبو داود والترمذي والنسائي. This hadith is reported in 5 of the books, 5 of the mother books of hadith. On the authority of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, he says, "Oh, the company of youth." Now, the company of youth, what is this referring to? This is referring to someone from the age of puberty to the age of 30, according to Imam Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i says, from the age of puberty, what's the age of puberty? Let's say 14, 15, yeah? Approximately for men, 14, 15. From the 14, 15, that's when your desires start going sky high. That's when you can't control yourself, okay? From 14, 15 to the age of 30, nowadays, astaghfirullah, people are not even getting married even at the age of 30. Delaying marriage after 30. So your youth is gone, your life is gone, your peak is gone. What are you going to do now? But still, don't delay marriage. Even if you are 30, get married. Point is, get married. What's the condition? Ya ma'ashara shabab, man istata'a minkum al-ba'ata. Whoever is able to support, this is the condition, whoever is able to support a family must get married. فَلْيَتَزَوَّجْ. It's an order from Rasulullah. فَلْيَتَزَوَّجْ. He must try to get married. فَإِنَّهُ أَغَضُّ. And this is the benefits of marriage. فَإِنَّهُ أَغَضُّ لِلْبَصَرِ. Because it helps you to, it aids you to lower your gaze from haram gazes. Otherwise, you're going to be continuously scrolling on haram women. When you're married, you don't feel the urge because your halal outlet is there. You're getting rewarded for your ibadah. That's your ibadah. Your wife is your ibadah. You understand? Your wife is your ibadah. Many people think, that's why Rasulullah said to that Sahabi that said, how is it when I sleep with my wife, it's ibadah? How does that make sense? Rasulullah gave the opposite analogy. He said, if a person were to sleep with a haram woman that he's not married to, unlawful woman, what would happen? He would fall into zina, one of the biggest crimes in Islam. So therefore, a person, if he does it the halal way, why shouldn't he get rewarded? You understand? Why shouldn't he get rewarded for doing it in the halal way? Allah has given you the halal way, use the halal way. Don't abuse the system, okay? Allah has given you this halal way, use that halal. فَإِنَّهُ أَغَضُّ لِلْبَصَرِ. For it protects your eyes. Number 2, it protects your chastity. It protects your private parts. Literal meaning, it protects your private parts. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ. And for the person who is unable to get married in this instance right now, in this situation, because of hard times, because of difficult times, because of whatever situation, maybe you've got some illness or something, then in that case, فَعَلَيْهِ بِالصَّوْمِ. He must try to fast. Why? When a young person, he has high desires and he fasts continuously. This fasting is talking about the fasting, yes, the fasting that we're talking about, normal fasting from dawn to dusk. But at the same time, this fasting is talking about eating little as possible. So just to keep your back straight. Why? Because the less food that you eat, the less desires you automatically have. Okay? This is the fasting that he's referring to, this hadith. Because if you weaken your body, automatically your desires will come down. But if you strengthen your body, normally your desires go higher. Your testosterone levels go much higher. فَإِنَّ لَهُ وِجَاء. For it is a means of curbing your desire. It is a means of curbing your desire. Fasting is a means of curbing your desires. Inshallah, we'll stop here and we'll talk about the benefits of marriage and many other hadith which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives us guidance for humans. Okay, this is important, especially in a day and time when fitna and fasad is everywhere. Haram is the common reality of the day. You know, there's no place that you can walk without, even our brothers, sisters, our cousins. We know what's happening. Okay, it's not a joke. This haram needs to be stopped from the ground level. If we don't stop it, then the next generation is gone, brothers. Next generation is gonna totally go. So it is our duty to protect them and to get them married as soon as possible. It is better, wallahi, it's a million times better in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that a youngster gets married, he stays married, if Allah forbid, wallahi, the worst thing, the hated thing, the most hated thing in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is divorce. If it were to happen, 10 years down the line, let's say he got married at the age of 18. 10 years down the line, he's still 28. Can he recover? He can recover. He's young. Now, you at the age of 30, like me, if you want to get married now, what's going to happen? 10 years down the line, if something happens to you, what's going to happen? You're going to be able to recover at the age of 40. You're going to be able to take that stress. No. So, don't delay marriage. Don't delay marriage. جزاكم الله خير سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك